I've been telling you all day what I would do in most situations. And so we're going to wrap here with a little bit of what not to do, what you shouldn't do in the social space. Okay? And a lot of this goes back to my original statement, if you're a dog, don't try to be a kangaroo. Because of the fact that I see so many people try to infiltrate the wrong community that it makes them look bad. You know what I mean? So for instance, I have a very narrow focus in my opinion. I'm very technology-based, software-based, all that kind of stuff. I have no business going on the horticultural social network. I have no business going on, how to make things out of popsiclesticks.com. I don't have any business on those sites. Therefore, I don't go out and look for those sites. There are some people out there which I consider them to be almost like a form of an addiction that they have. Anytime they hear about any type of network, they must flock to it. You know what I mean? Even if they don't have a restaurant, they'll go add a profile of themselves to Yelp or something. Seriously. My thing is to find the communities that work for you and don't go outside those communities. All right? Find yourself a niche and stick in it. If you need to rebrand or, refocus, that's fine. Okay? I've done it many, many times. I've rebranded, refocused many times. But do not get stuck in places where you don't belong. That being said, once you find the networks that you belong in, you have to keep yourself on point, because you do not want to start feeding people information that they didn't come for. Okay? For instance, I know people come to me because they followed my podcast for years. It was a Photoshop podcast. Unfortunately, that put me in somewhat of a pigeonhole for several years where people thought, well, this dude only teaches Photoshop stuff, right? I teach a lot more than just that. And so I still have to put out Photoshop tips, Photoshop tricks, Photoshop tutorials, and all this stuff. And that's okay, because that's what brought me to the dance. And I get that, and I respect it. So I will never, ever, ever stop doing Photoshop-related tutorials, because like I said, that's what brought me here. All right? And I understand that's where a majority of my audience is coming from. However, I'm also not going to stop talking about the other stuff that I do. And I'm hoping that that doesn't bleed over too much into the community that trusts me for other things. So you have to walk that line, and you can't get too off topic. I know when I'm getting too off topic because I won't get a response back from something. So for instance, the other day I wrote this post, Strive for Happiness, Not Success. I originally thought this is way too off topic and I'm probably going to get dinged heavily for this post. To my surprise, most of the people that read it happened to be on Google+, and a lot of them were creatives who had left their job and who are doing their own thing and striving for the dream and all that jazz. And it really resonated with those people. And so I realized then that this kind of content is okay for that audience. This kind of content right here got chirping crickets on Facebook. It didn't get anything on Twitter. So I've now realized that these, and I hate to classify myself like this, but these Tony Robbins-esque posts don't necessarily belong on certain networks that I belong to. They belong on Google Plus maybe, or maybe they belong on my Journey YouTube channel, something like that. Okay, so don't step outside the bounds. Also, do not follow somebody back just to follow. Okay? Now, I know a lot of people that do. All right? And I don't have a problem with it if that's your thing. All right? The reason I say don't do that is because as your audience grows, if you just follow back just to follow back, you're going to get so much noise coming back at you that you're not going to be able to keep up with the entirety of the stream. So on my networks, and this is nothing personal to anybody else, okay, nothing personal. If you follow me on a network, there is a good chance I probably won't follow you back, okay? It has nothing to do with me not liking you or anything else. It has to do with the fact that I'm trying to listen as much as I can to other thought leaders, to other people. If you send me an @ reply or a direct message or an email or something like that, you will get a response, so don't worry, okay? But I'm interested in learning things through these channels, and I can't do that with a bunch of noise. And so I try to keep mine under 150 people for each one of my given networks that I follow. So I don't have, I have about 200 on Google+, and I've unfollowed a lot of folks on Google Plus that I thought were pretty important and pretty smart simply because they blew up my stream and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Okay? I've had to add them to circles that I don't necessarily check that often. Twitter, I've unfollowed people like crazy because they blow up my stream and I miss stuff. I don't like it. So, don't follow just to follow back. Follow people that you think can add something to your conversation or to your community. Okay? Another rule that I try to follow is don't concern yourself necessarily with, don't get caught up in the shameless self-promotion aspect of all this stuff. It's very easy to do. It's very easy to get into this with the full intention of being social and wind up being nothing but a marketing squawk box. And if you turn yourself into a marketing squawk box, you have totally missed the point. Okay? If you do not engage the people, if you do not interact with the people will leave, and they will leave quickly. There was a time when I thought the more content I pumped into these networks, the better. The more times I posted, the more information I gave. I was linking to articles that I found. I was linking to videos that I posted. I was saying, here's a class I'm doing, here's a class I'm doing, here's a DVD I'm selling, here's a DVD I'm selling. And as opposed to the point when I was just out there talking to people, my numbers, here's when I'm talking to people, here's when I'm advertising. Here's when I'm talking to people, here's when I'm advertising. I'm always selling, but I'm never advertising, right? I'm always selling, but I'm hardly ever advertising. And so, I do advertise occasionally. Of course I do. I need to promote the work I'm doing. That's what pays the bills. But there's a difference between selling and advertising. And I think a lot of people have a problem with that line. And so if you can find that line for you, it's going to be different for every single person. It's going to be different for each and every one of you in this room. It's going to be different for each and every one of you on the internet. And so find that line and walk it careful. All right? So let's take some end of the day questions.
Questiones. There's so many. I think maybe we can do you want to just cover a little bit of everything that we've done? Or
yeah, sure. Yeah, this is end of the day Q&A, so whatever they have, go ahead.
Okay. And these might be a little bit of repeat.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. ASnap said, if you could please explain why Twitter does not like one person having multiple accounts. I have 2 accounts, and even if I sign out on one, it won't let me sign into the second, but returns me to the first account.
That's strange. I have multiple Twitter accounts. My dog has a Twitter account. And I tweet from his account all the time. And I am able to sign out and sign back in as other people. So that could be like a browser issue or something like that. Maybe it's cookies or caching or something. Yeah, go
Do you
ahead.
have them with different email addresses or all with one email address?
It's not with one email address. No, you won't be able to do it with one
Right.
email.
I wonder if that's maybe the problem.
It could be. But
Okay.
see, I have a Google Apps account, so I have my dog's email address set up. If you want to email my dog, it's tank@sealy.tv.
I'm sorry, what is your dog's email address?
tank@sealy.tv.
All right, everyone.
Tank's the English bulldog.
SealyTV.com? What is it?
Sealy.tv.
Sealy.tv.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and he has a Twitter. He's @TankSealy. So.
We talked about this a little. Oh, well, first, Theo wants to know, what does your dog say on Twitter?
What does my dog say on Twitter? Well, he doesn't tweet as much as he did when he first got his Twitter account. But, just observations about life. He'll tweet pictures of himself doing random things.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Chick Design is asking, what are the best resources to learn how to use Twitter and Facebook if you don't know much, in addition to this class, of
Sure.
course?
There's a ton of good books and stuff out there for that. If you go to your local bookstore and just go look in the marketing section, there's a whole wall of them, I'm sure. I've never actually read one myself. I've just kind of learned all this, trial by fire kind of thing. So I would do that. Also, there's a great blog you can read called mashable.com, and they have great social media resources there.
A big picture question. Gerdiana would like to know if we can get an overview of social strategy.
Yeah, social strategy, absolutely. So let me go back into the slides here and I'll kind of walk you through what we talked about today. So when we're talking about mapping a social strategy, number one, you're going to find the right community. Finding the right community is 90% of the battle, I think. So you find the right community and then you listen to that community. Find the problems, find the holes that you can fill and the situations you can help improve, and then go after it. All right? And then once you have your strategy in place for what networks you're going to go on, and the ones that I recommend, of course, are Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and I should be in my slides like this, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. You want to make sure that you have all the puzzle pieces in place that I talked about earlier. So that is your core set of graphics, your catchphrases, taglines, and bios, and then, of course, that you have studied extensively the customization options for each of the given platforms.
Great, thank you. A question from G. Feller Studio. Do you think that Google Plus Hangouts are going to gain more and more popularity, and that maybe Facebook and others may need to integrate something similar?
Yeah, I do. I think the Hangout thing is just getting started. I mean, really and truly. We did one at lunch today. A lot of famous photographers do them all the time. People are using them as training opportunities. I think they've taken away the screen share option temporarily or something. They used to have a screen share option in there that you could share your screen and you can actually show tutorials and stuff inside of Google Plus Hangouts. Facebook does have the new video chat thing that I think they're partnering with like Skype or something on. And so, they're going to try to replicate it. But honestly, I've never seen anything that's as slick and as good a quality as what Google Plus is doing right now. And so they've got it in there where you can share YouTube videos with each other, you can chat with each other in a little window, and then they had the screen share feature as well. And so, I think that that's a very awesome solution for sharing and collaborating, and it will only continue to grow.
GMV had asked, what is your take on sites that congregate social media profiles such as About.me or Flavors.me pages?
Sure.
Is that a good use for personal branding, or should
Sure
people
is.
just focus on promoting individual profiles?
I think it's a great thing. And About.me is, one of the more popular aggregate services. And so you can kind of see, here's me. Hi, me. And so this is my About.me profile. Again, they don't allow me to do my custom logo up here, so I just kind of had to pick some cool fonts that I thought I liked. And so, designer, trainer, geek, there's my standard bio. But this is great because it's got all of my different places aggregated into one. Okay? And so places like this offer, if you don't even have a web page, this is a great place to send people. Before I revamped my web page, like I just had it taken down for the longest time, I drove people here so that they could find anything they wanted about me.
Chaos2K had asked, when someone hits the like button from a post on your blog, it does not show the correct image on Facebook. Any ideas?
It doesn't show the correct image. I'm assuming they mean preview image when they do that. I got a question about this yesterday. So when you post something to Facebook, whether it's a link or a video link or whatever it might be, Facebook gives you this little preview thing. You've all seen that little thing that people put on some of their links. From time to time, I'm not actually sure where it pulls the image from. To be quite honest, because I've done it from my site and it'll pull like one of my sidebar ads or something when it should be pulling like my logo or anything like that. I've never read any documentation that tells me exactly how or if I can control that. So if it's showing the wrong image, you can actually turn that little preview image off if you want to. There should be a little X there. And so that way you're still posting the content, but maybe the image doesn't necessarily mean as much. So you can just kind of turn it off. And they also have a big problem with YouTube videos too. If you try to post a YouTube video link in there sometimes, it won't show the preview of the video, which really ticks me off.
So I post a lot of YouTube videos for Creative Live, and the only thing that I've figured out is, and this could just be me, but watching the video play all the way through once, like you kind of have to wait after you've posted it.
Right.
Watch it through, and then share it directly from the YouTube page to Facebook.
Okay.
instead of taking the link and putting it into
Right.
Facebook. I have a little bit more success when I do it that way for some reason. I don't know.
It's
I don't know.
strange. I don't know.
It's strange.
Fix your program, Facebook.
I have a question from Shane Srogi, who we were talking with on
okay.
our Google Plus Hangout
Sweet.
today. He's a big Google Plus Hangouter. And he says, most of my engagement is on Google Plus, but I lose a high percentage when I direct people to my blog. Is this just a given?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, I'm assuming he means a lot of people that, when he tries to direct people to the other content, he loses some of that. And yeah, unfortunately, that's something that I'm dealing with as well. So I get a lot of traffic to my social profiles, but I have trouble finding a way back to here. And that's why I said this is the ultimate goal, to get them to here. The people you do get to here, this site right here, those are your, the people that are in, right? And so, focus on those people and work on cultivating that if you can. And the other people will come eventually, I think. It's just going to take time.
What if you just posted a portion of your blog post on Facebook, and for reading more, go to the blog?
Absolutely. And, a lot of people will bite on that. And I think to Shane's point, what he's saying, even when he links to something even like that, he's not getting the full click-through like he should. I mean, theoretically, if you have 3,000 followers on Google+, you should be able to get 1,500 of them or something like that to get over to your blog. It's very hard to do. And I think that's because a lot of people, they'll follow you in some places, but they may not necessarily pay attention all the time. And so it's just kind of a hit or miss kind of deal.
Photo Girl 64 asked, how can I get people to like my Facebook page when I've just created it and haven't posted that much? And I've personally noticed, like, it's one thing to have friends on your personal page. It's easy to get people to be friends with you. But
Sure.
it's really hard to get people to like your photography page. Or
Sure.
Do you have any suggestions for
Well,
how
I'll
do
tell you
that?
what I do, and this is my trick for securing my username as well. As soon as I create a new Facebook fan page for anything, I automatically send out an invite to every one of my Facebook friends. And I will put in the message that I send, I'll be like, look, I just need some traction on this or whatever. Can you please get this? Because number one, if more people start liking you, you start showing up in other people's streams. You know what I mean? And so that way they might look at you and they might say, oh, okay, they've got some cool photos. Make sure you've got a little bit of content there regardless. You know what I mean? A little bit, some photos or something for them to look at. And then hopefully that'll start catching on. Also, as soon as you create it and you have something there, it doesn't matter what it is, as soon as you have something there, tweet it out. Put it on Google+, whatever it might be, just to, get the word out as much as you can.
And how do you send that invitation? Isn't it, you can only send it to so many people at a time? Or
You can go into here and, let's see, back to the wall. And so there should be, and I'm going to try not to get in and actually show, here we go, here it is over here on the right. So you can invite friends. I'm not going to click this because it'll bring up too many people. But when you hit invite friends, it'll come up this little square of every one of your friends. The downside to this is you have to select them one at a time. So it is a slow process, but you go in, you click one at a time, and then you hit invite, and boom, they get this big thing saying, Justin Seeley suggests that you like Justin Seeley. And most of the time, they'll go ahead and click on it.
And that's the fan page that you invite people from, not your personal page.
Right. Yeah. This is from the fan page. Yes, ma'am.
And will it show which ones already like it so that you're not asking them again?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
if you've already asked people and they already like it, they'll be grayed out.
Okay.
Yep, they'll be grayed out.
All right, well, we're going to do one last question of the
Okay.
day. And that is, what do you see happening for yourself in the near future or distant future? Or can you tell us what's up next for you?
For me, well, I'm going to go back and cool it for a little while in Kentucky till the end of the year. And then in 2012, I've got a full slate of speaking gigs around the country, doing some conferences and things like that. Going to be doing some speaking at some Adobe events and all kinds of stuff. You never know. I might be right around in here sometime in 2012 as well. You never know. We're still kind of working out the details for that. So, if you ever need anything, information about me or anything, you can find them in any of these profiles that I've been plugging away all week here anytime. And, I'm always open to emails and tweets and any kind of messages that you guys need. So if you want to keep up with me, that's a great way to do it.
All right, well, it's been an amazing day. Can't believe how fast it's gone by.
I know.
A ton of information on social media, which is changing all of our lives. So thank you to all the students that are here, and just a big round of applause to Mr. Justin Seeley.
Thank you very much.